Macmillan Audio presents Battle of the Bulge by Rick Atkinson. Read for you by Jason Culp. A note to listeners. My father was a soldier, which made me an army brat. He enlisted in the army when he was 18 years old in 1943, about halfway through World War II. He became a lieutenant and arrived in Europe just after the war there ended. A few years later, my father came home to America, went to college, got married, and went back into the army, this time to make it a career. Once again, he was sent to war-torn Europe. I was born in Germany, but we lived for several years in Austria, which was still occupied by American troops. I guess it's no wonder that I have always been fascinated by World War II. It was the worst catastrophe in human history, a time of great heroes, of bravery and sacrifice, but also a time of great villains, of cowardice and horrible crimes. 70 years after it was fought, the war continues to influence our lives today. Whether or not your great-grandfather or great-grandmother served in the military or worked in a war factory, chances are it was the most exciting, terrifying, and memorable period of their lives. World War II is also the greatest story of the 20th century, and my hope is that you get to know this story because it tells us a lot about who we are as a nation and what events shaped the world you know today. Rick Atkinson, Washington, D.C. The European Theater, September 1939 to November 1944. This war, which in the end involved 61 countries, was sparked in September 1939 by Germany's invasion of Poland. Germany, under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, was determined to increase its size and resources. It had already absorbed Austria and Czechoslovakia, actions that provoked criticism but not war. Poland, however, was a country allied with most Western European countries. Therefore, Great Britain and France declared war on Germany. The German march west began soon after. In April 1940, Germany invaded Norway and Denmark, and the following month, Belgium and the Netherlands. As the armies of Western Europe assembled and supplied for war, Germany began bombing Britain in raids known as the Blitz, German for lightning. In less than a year, London was bombed 71 times, causing massive damage and resulting in the evacuation of hundreds of thousands of children to the countryside. In June 1941, Germany turned the other way and invaded the Soviet Union. It was the Japanese attack on the U.S. Navy base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, in December 1941 that brought the United States into the conflict. Thus, the sides were set. The Allied powers, including the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, China, the Soviet Union, and the United States, against the main Axis powers of Germany, Italy, and Japan. Both Germany and the United States fought the war on two fronts. For Germany, this meant European countries on the Western Front and the Soviet Union on the East. The United States fought on the European front against Germany and on the Pacific Front against Japan. On June 6, 1944, a massive assembly of ships and landing craft delivered 156,000 Allied troops to the beaches of Normandy, France. That intensified the slow, bloody effort to defeat the Germans on land and in the air. Town by town, Allied soldiers made their way across France to the German border. Along the way, they liberated Paris in August 1944, a significant defeat for the Germans and victory for the Allies.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?